The Citroen C4 Cactus. Now it's a hatchback that's trying to be a little bit different in the way that it has these clever air bumps, which are basically the automotive equivalent of bubble wrap, which protect the car from little bangs and scrapes. I mean, I love doing that with bubble wrap, and I actually love the design of this car. It really does make it stand out. And you know, this is a very stylish car, isn't it? Yet the price is actually really reasonable. It starts from around £12,000. Yet you can actually save on that. If you click up there to go to carwow.co.uk, you'll be able to see what deal you can get on a C4 Cactus. Now, on the inside, the car is just as cool as on the outside. I really love the fact that you've got these strap effects throughout the cabin, which is designed to mimic luxury luggage. You can actually get the dash in 3 different colours, the interior upholstery in 10 different colours, and it does all look rather cool. The only problem is that some of the materials feel a little bit cheap. So plastics up here certainly don't pass the Carwow flick test, nor down here, all brittle and cheap. And the seats, well, they're supposed to be like comfy armchairs, but they feel like they've been filled with old washing up sponges. They're not really supportive. In fact, they're as supportive as a bad parent. Thing is though, this car is built down to a price. It is rather cheap, but you should avoid the entry-level car because it has basically no kit on it. It's called the Touch model, and I wouldn't touch it because you don't get aircon. I mean, who doesn't want aircon in a car? You don't want the range stopping flare either, because then this car isn't quite so good value. You need the mid-spec feel because it has USB, you've got Bluetooth, and you also get that all-important air conditioning. Now, all cars get this infotainment screen as standard, and it looks rather nice, but it's not the easiest to use. Now, if you click up there, you can get our full review of it and have another good look around this car's cabin, and you will notice that cubby spaces, they're brilliant in this C4 Cactus. Huge door bins, and that extends to the back seats as well. In fact, if I just close this door, not only got a big door bin there, there's another storage area up here which is nice and handy. So the back seats themselves, well, okay, it's all right for knee room. Headroom is a little bit tight, people over 6 foot might struggle, but it's not all that bad. In terms of carrying 3 abreast, because this is just one big, well, sofa basically, it is okay, it's just about doable. It's a little bit better than its rivals, this car. However, yeah, there's no armrest and it is all a bit basic. As for the boot, well, the outright capacity is a little bit less than average when you compare it to things like a Renault Megane, Peugeot 308, but it's still large enough. The main problem with it is a lack of flexibility. So there's no false floor, there's a huge lip to lift stuff over, there's exposed bits of metal in there showing this car's, well, cheap build cost. And then there's another thing, this rear seat, look at this, there we go, it's a single bench, you can't split it. That is really frustrating. So too is this big ridge here, so it makes it harder to slide items into the back, and that makes this car a little bit less practical than it could be. Now, if you click up there, you can watch our in-depth practicality video and see how much stuff we could fit into the Cactus's boot, what it's like with 3 people in the back seat, and how easy it is to fit a baby seat in this car.
So the Citroen is a cool looking car, but is it cool to drive?
Well, yes and no. Now, the engines, they're all economical. So every Cactus will do over 60 miles per gallon. You can get a diesel which will do over 90. This 1.6 litre diesel should be able to do 80, though looking at the trick computer, okay, so I'm only getting 47, which is a bit far off, but it's actually all right in the real world, I guess. And do you know what, actually, the problem with this engine, for me, is if you rev it, it makes quite a bit of a noise, which is a shame, because otherwise this car is actually pretty quiet. Anyway, I reckon if you're going for a Cactus and you mainly do town driving, just get one of the 1.2 litre turbo petrols, because they're brilliant, they're nippy, and they're reasonably economical as well. Now, a lot of people will like driving the Cactus because you sit a bit higher than in a normal hatchback, and that gives you a great view forward. Bit of a shame though that you've got these huge pillars here that create quite a bit of a blind spot. So do the ones at the back, and actually you can see for yourself by clicking up there to watch my 360-degree passenger ride video. Okay, so this car has a spiky name, but the ride is anything but. The suspension is actually nice and soft, so it deals really well with bumps and potholes, makes it great for driving in town. There is a trade-off for that comfy suspension, and that means the car, when you're going fast and you go over bumps, it does feel a little bit floaty. And when you try and push it into a corner, it does start to run wide, and it rolls about quite a bit, though it does actually make it a bit of fun because you can really drive this car on its door handles. What's not so fun are the controls. So the steering's all a bit vague, and the gear shift, well, look at this. That's in gear, and I mean, look at that, it's so loose and baggy. You know, it feels like this car's done 300,000 miles, not the 3 that it's actually showing on the odometer. And then there's the brakes, which are the complete opposite, so they're hypersensitive. So you brush the pedal and you're like, oh my God, your head banging. And they're just so sensitive, you know, they're either off or they're on, that you end up going down the road in traffic, head banging, like you're listening to Bohemian Rhapsody in Wayne's World.
And that's the issue with the Citroen C4 Cactus. It has a few annoying traits. And here's 5 more.
The rear windows don't wind down, they just pop out, so kids will feel like they're in a glass prison. You can't get lumbar support for the front seat, so if you have a bad back, you may want to bring a cushion. If you want to alter the temperature, you can't just turn a knob, you actually have to press a button on a screen and then do it. The car doesn't have a rev counter, so you have no idea where the red line is. It's probably somewhere up there. The armrest makes it very difficult to get at the handbrake, so you have to go like that.
However, the quirky Cactus has more than enough cool features to make up for all this.
The glass roof has an anti-glare and heat-reflective coating, so you don't actually need a blind, which would actually eat into headroom. The washer jets are built into the windscreen wipers for a more efficient clean. Unlike with other cars, the passenger airbag isn't in the dash, it's actually up there, which means there's space for a little cubby under here. The entry-level car weighs less than a tonne, which is quite light for car standards. Makes it easy to push. Unlike with many other cars, the daytime running lamps are actually above the headlamps, and so it's a bit like an eyebrow above the eye. So then, overall, what do I think of the Citroen C4 Cactus? Well, its infotainment system is a little bit fiddly, and it's only got pop-out rear windows, but then this is a unique car and it's comfy to travel in. Now, if you click up there, you can get more information and find out the best deal you can get on a Citroen C4 Cactus at carwow.co.uk. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it and subscribe to our channel. If you click over there, you can watch our detailed practicality, infotainment and 360-degree passenger ride videos for the Citroen Cactus. Now, this is what the Easter egg in the video. It was the little cactus in the car's door pocket. Looked a little bit sick, but it was still a cactus.